Hello everybody, welcome to Chance Draycott Media and welcome to another episode of Tower Simulator 3. In today's episode, I'm finally going to talk about making schedules. As you'll have seen in a couple of episodes before, I've made my own schedules for this game, usually bringing European airlines over to the United States. Today I wanted to show you the process of doing that. This might not be a comprehensive guide on how to do it, but I wanted just to show you my process, how I get it to work, and then hopefully you can copy it and make it work for yourself and go from there. So let's jump straight in. Now the first thing I want to do is look at the airport itself and look what aircraft park at what gates. We're going to be doing LaGuardia today. I've got a bit of a sort of ongoing love-hate relationship with LaGuardia, but I know that it's a good airport for doing just narrow body stuff. You know, you don't really get any wide body aircraft here and massive sort of supers or any heavies. For the sake of this, we're not going to really do anything. We're just going to go and look at the airport. I want to look at, let's just start at about 7 a.m, shall we? We're going to keep it all clear. We're going to be using the Nyerges Design World Colour and World Traffic stuff for this. I'm going to show you in a minute how you find the liveries and what sort of aircraft are available. We'll go over that shortly, but first off, we're going to look at the terminals, see what's parked where, make a little note of it, because that's going to be so important, is making notes of stuff through here. So make sure you've got yourself a pen or at least a spreadsheet or notepad, whatever else. And then we're going to basically figure out what we're going to put where in our schedule and in our airport. You can copy real world schedules from Flight Radar. You can completely make your own up. There is no sort of set format for this, so you can do whatever you want with it. Okay, as soon as we get in the game, we're just going to pause time because all we're doing here is having a look around. We're going to use WASD as usual to go and move about. So we can see clearly there are some American things here. We've got American 737s, A320s and so on. One thing that's worth noting with this game is that usually the gate numbers are on the ground. It doesn't seem to be the case here at LaGuardia, which is a bit of a shame. But we'd have quite a mix here at this terminal, which is a little bit frustrating really when you think about having this, because we've got United, JetBlue, Southwest, and American Airlines. In the next one we've got Air Canada, the same sort of mix though, United, JetBlue, Southwest. We've got some Alaskan there, which may have an Alaskan livery, but that may come up as something else, like SkyWest for example, because they have different operators and so on. Again, something I'm going to go over in a minute. Next up we've got Delta. Seems to be only Delta at this terminal and at this terminal as well. And then you've got all the Brickyard and Republic stuff as well, so you can see the slight difference between these two. They'll probably both come up as Brickyard, to be fair, which is RPA. Not having the gate numbers on the ground makes it slightly difficult though, which is a bit of a shame, because on some of them, where these little squares are here, you would have the gate number on it, so we'll have to figure this one out for ourselves. What I tend to do at this point though is go into the game files. So we go into Tower Simulator 3, you go to airports, and then you go KLGA, databases, go to the Nyerges Design one, and what I recommend at this point actually is make your own folder. So I've basically made a Chaz Draycott one which carries over the same files from the Nyerges Design one. You look in the Nyerges Design one as terminals. If you don't have something like Microsoft Excel or a spreadsheet sort of program, use Notepad and have a look at these. Never edit the terminal files with anything other than Notepad because it messes with the formats and other things. So this is what the terminals look like then. You get the terminal name, basically what airlines are allowed, and then the gate and the road names. So leave all the gates as they are, which are these over here. But you'll see there's these 3-letter designations for the airlines, and they're what come up on the radar screens. So we've got American Airlines here, Air Canada, Air Shuttle, whatever some of these are, Jazz, Southwest, SkyWest, United, and JetBlue. They're the airlines that have been told to park at this terminal here. So you can see that there's a bunch of them all put together. If we went into the schedule and, for example, changed that to just be RYR, only Ryanair would park there if we had any Ryanair flights coming in. This is so important because without assigning an airline to a terminal, they will not arrive at the airport or depart from it. You'll see some of them have this little star next to their names as well. That basically means that they prioritize that terminal, and then any overspill goes to others. Frequency and GA you don't really need to worry about. Airlines, CSV as well, that's just a list of all the airlines that you can have. I will show you that anyway. There's all the codes, there's the airline itself, and then there are, of course, the countries which they are from. So you have this amazing list of airlines. It's humongous. They really have pretty much thought of everything on here. Now, if you wanted to find the aircraft that are available, you go into your Tower Simulator 3 folder, then go into Airplanes, Nyerges Design, and then you get a folder for every type of aircraft available. So if you look at the Boeing 737-8 MAX, double click in there, you get a folder with that 3-digit code for that airline. You can then click on it and it'll show you the livery. I've made these bigger just so it's easy to see it. And again, I must say, actually, seeing how these liveries are done and how difficult they are to wrap around the plane, hats off to Nyerges Design and their guys, because they do an amazing job of making them work. I've painted lots of cars on iRacing and other things, and to be fair, their sort of templates and designs look a lot simpler than the models that these guys use. Anyway, this is a good way to check that if you are going to have a certain airline coming into your airport and you know what they operate, like for example EasyJet operate Airbus A319s, you'll know it has to be EZS rather than EZY for that to work and for them to come in there. There you go. I don't have Excel or anything like that, so I tend to use Google Sheets for my schedules. You'll notice here you get the operator and the airline call sign. A lot of the time that's going to be the same thing. So if we want EasyJet in, then it'd just be easy and easy. The operator is the livery that shows on the plane, if it's not a special one that you put in over here. And the airline is what is the data that gets picked for what terminal it goes to. So you could have, you know, like, you could have, oh god, my keyboard's broken. You could have DAL for Delta, but then you could also do, oh, I don't know, BAW, and it'll be in a British Airways livery if you put it in as an A319 or something like that. That's the flight number, Chaz, not the airplane type. A319. Can't type for anything. You have to put in a from and to for the ICAO codes. Now, if you're having it as an arrival, obviously you would put in KLGA, but you could make that from anywhere as long as it's a real airport. My local is Manchester, so you could genuinely say that someone's flown an A319 from Manchester to LaGuardia. The approach time is when they appear on your radar screen. That's not when they call up for approach or anything like that, or when they actually land. That's when they appear on your radar screen. I've never really messed about with the approach altitude, to be honest with you. Departure time is when they call up to get pushed back. As a bit of an option as well, I've made a list here of all the aircraft that I would maybe use at my airport if I was doing a European schedule. We've got a load of European airlines, their codes, and then the aircraft. Basically just what is available here. And then on top of that, I've made a list of all the airlines as well individually, in case I need to list them to put them at a specific terminal. It's just about setting yourself up to know what information you can use and what not, because it's so easy to just forget in your head. One rule of thumb I have is that I tend to have at least an hour turnaround between aircraft coming in and going back out again. Sometimes it's not that much in the real world, but it just means that you know that there's definitely an aircraft that's come into the airport to then go out again. So when I'm writing schedules, I tend to do the same aircraft twice, so I'd maybe do, a Ryanair 737. Let's just call it flight 1234 and then 1235. You have to have different flight numbers. You can't duplicate it. And it is a Boeing 737-800, which comes up as B73H. We're going to say it's flown from Manchester to KLGA and then KLGA back to, I don't know, Liverpool. Approach time, it's going to come up at 0802. And then we're not going to put anything in departure time here. So it's going to come in at 802. And then we're going to get it to go back out again an hour later at 9:02. I tend to do that just to make sure that we've got enough aircraft coming in and then going out again, and you've basically got the same number. That's going to be so important to make sure that you've got the same aircraft coming in as the same amount of aircraft going out. So you then repeat the process a few times. We're going to put some EasyJets in. Let's just give it 2256 and 2257. That is an Airbus A320 for EasyJet, and they're going to come from, let's say, Heathrow. I know EasyJet don't fly from Heathrow to KLGA and then back again. Approach time, we're going to do 8:04, and departure time, we're going to move this forward by 2 minutes and put, 9. You need to make sure you get the format right here as well, because if you export it and lose the 0 in front of the 9, it will not work. I'm pretty sure that there is a limit on, or a minimum at least, for how many aircraft you need in a schedule for it to work. So just make sure that you add quite a few in there if you are going to do a little bit of a test here to make sure that they go to the right terminals and, of course, come in at the right time. The airport it's going to doesn't really matter that much, but what it will do is determine which angle it needs to go at when it takes off. So with what I was doing previously at KRDU, you'd have noticed that they all took off down the runway and then turned around and went back on themselves on the radar screen, because that's where Europe was, basically. I tend to just go down the list and just add a couple of minutes between each one, but what I'm going to do for the example here, to show us that they are coming in and then going out again at the right time, we're just going to do a bunch of them almost instantly after the hour, so you can see them all come in and then go out again. I'm actually going to pop an example in here as well, which shows you EZS, which is the EasyJet colour scheme on the A319, because it's operated by Top Swiss, I believe it is. It's basically EasyJet Europe. So we're going to put A319 in there. Flight number 1113 and then 1114. And they're going to go again from Liverpool to LaGuardia, and then LaGuardia back to Liverpool. We're going to do them at 8:01, and then back out at 9:01. I'm going to fill a few more of these in though, so do bear with me for just a moment, and then we'll show you how this all works. I'm going to try it with 6 aircraft here, so what you do now is go to download it as a CSV, comma separated value, pop it into the right folder, so you go Tower Simulator 3, Airports, KLGA, Databases, then your own database, and then pop it into Schedule. Yes, we will replace it. But at the same time, it's then important to make sure you've adjusted your schedule. So the airlines we've got are Ryanair, EasyJet, Wizz, and Jet2, which is CHANX, CHX. So we go to Airports, KLGA, Databases, My Schedules here, which is under my Chas Draycott folder, and then open the terminals file in Notepad. We're going to get rid of Spirit. We're going to get rid of all of these. Make sure as well, if you're doing multiple airlines in one place, you have to put the speech marks either side of them where you have the commas. If there's just one airline there, you don't need to do that. So for that terminal, we're now going to change it to say Ryanair, Easy, Wizz, and CHANX, and that's as simple as it is. We're actually going to put Spirit back up there because we haven't affected that terminal yet. Literally hit Control S and save it, and then hop into the game. So we'll select LaGuardia, select runway 04 for arrivals. Let's do 22 actually for arrivals, and then in airport databases you'll see Chas Draycott because it's seen that there's another folder in there. It'll then use all of the information. Don't worry about it saying not compatible, it will be. Set the time to 8 AM and off we go. If anything has gone wrong, it will come up on this screen. I noticed a while ago at KRDU that I had some problems with my frequency files. It was telling me that there was no roads to certain taxiways and stuff based on how I'd saved the CSV file. You'll also get warnings for aircraft that don't have the right liveries, so make a note of those because then you'll need to change those aircraft types. And there you go, look, an unknown airline operator, CHX. So I've clearly got that very, very wrong indeed. We're going to pause time though down here, close that, and hopefully we should have a very empty airfield. So nothing at all here at LaGuardia, which just shows you that there are no aircraft on the schedule. Hopping back into the tower, you'll see at bang on 8:01, Easy 1113 arrives on the scene. Excuse me. Easy 1113 pops up on our strips and will be up here on the radar. That's the only thing about KLGA, you won't see it up there. Just zoom my screen out slightly on here. Get rid of this POV because I absolutely hate it. Change the orientation so we can see more of the airfield, and we'll go with that, shall we? I'm going to speed time up a little bit and bring Easy in, wait for it to call up, and there you go, look, Ryanair is there as well now. Okay, Easy 1113, runway 22 clear to land.
Runway 22 clear to land.
It's as simple as that basically. There's no other major challenges that you're going to come across other than certain airlines not having the right colours and so on. Just make sure that you've got enough aircraft coming in to then go out again a little bit later on. That's all I'd say really. It can take a very long time to do schedules though. There's a lot of trial and error involved as well, so just make sure that you do test it all. There's a lot of great people that are making schedules and putting them on the Discord as well. It does also mean that you can have quite a bit of fun with it though. I've got an idea in my head for my next video which is going to feature one of my custom schedules. You'll have to wait on that one. But hopefully this has answered the questions or any questions that you've got about doing it. If there are any more though, please do pop them in the comments below. It is a very simple process when you know exactly what information to put and where. It's just when you include more airlines and so on, it can get a little bit more complicated. Shush! I appreciate there's not many aircraft to look at right now though, but that is literally as simple as it is. So thank you very much for watching. Pop any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next episode.